Good afternoon, everybody. And in these times of economic turmoil and human turmoil, I'm speaking to you from my home office, which I'm sure most of you are in a virtual setting as well. Obviously, being in a virtual setting, it actually means turning the screen on, and this is what I do most of the time during the day now. Most of my coaching is run through Zoom now, so this is where I work from. So I think we are in about week 10 of closure, and some of the small businesses have opened again, and obviously taking care of the social distancing, and some businesses are thinking about opening up. So there are many things that we will be covering today, and basically most of it is what I've been advising my own clients, and I've been working with them on the similar areas. Now, what we've learned from past economic downturns and trends is that to run a company or to start a company uh, is similar to restarting a company more than anything else. It's like restarting a race. So when you have a race, you look at a yellow flag come on, and suddenly everybody has to slow down, and everybody has to slow down and maintain their distance. But as soon as the race starts, what happens is every day has to pick it up all of a sudden. So that is what more or less is what we're finding ourselves in. um, and that is the time, when the race restarts, that's the time when most of the accidents happen, major problems happen. And similarly in business environment, we can expect some of this to come and haunt business owners. So it's like comparing reopening to when you started the business first time, at the same time just starting a race again. So there are some things you need to be keeping in mind, and there are some areas that you need to be more focused than others. So without much further ado, let me get on with it. So let me just look at my video, and what we're going to do is I'm going to take you a few of these slides that I have prepared, which are going to help us talk about it. So look at this screen first of all. So when we are thinking about uh, 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 these three words: rethink, reinvent, and reopen, what is it that comes to your mind? you know uh, what we need to keep in our mind is that it's not a fresh word. It's not something which hasn't been thought before. But when we are restarting or reopening, there are simple things, which needs to be kept in mind. How you handle your customers before have changed. How people used to enter your building have changed. Uh, Also, what has happened is the way you did business in past, it has all changed, and that is what is important, because obviously humanity has changed over a period of time. So we need to be mindful of the things that we would be doing in future. So and even when we look at our business from sales and marketing perspective, we just need to be mindful how tough our job has become from what it used to be. So in that sense, it's important to look at what is it that we need to be focused on. So for example, here, when we look at the local rules of the game, for example, when we are opening the business, what we need to be mindful of is the local community, the local rules of the game. So, for example, even this country in UK, the rules of the game are different. So, some rules apply in England, and some rules, if you just cross the border, or go into Wales, the rules are very different. So, what we need to be do is be mindful. We need to be mindful what the local rules are, and sometimes it's also about the common sense, but common sense is not usually the most common thing that we see. So when we're looking at things, we need to be focused on the customer experience. So what we're looking at is re-educating and preparing ourselves. So we need to look at how we're going to be doing things differently, and how these things apply to our business now. So just having a walk through your store or walk through the buying process, go through it again as new. See, old buying and old sales processes are different today. So we need to think it through. Every process in our business, every step in our business needs to be thought through with 6 foot of distancing, and all of these things need to be added into the process of our rethinking at every stage. Whether it's in office, whether it's shop floor, and look at the common sense of the cleaning side of things. So a lot of businesses are putting barriers and between the people, between the workstations. I know our clients businesses are putting screens in the front reception, so there is actually sort of a sneeze guard type of a thing between people and the customers, or between two people. So these are some of the basics. And then the challenging of aspect of how you get the personal protective equipment. So for example, your masks, your gloves, you're going to be needing all of that. So you need to be prepared when your business opens. How are you going to be sourcing them, and how are you going to be supplying them to your staff? I think the feeling of being safe is going to be a big part of it, and that you need to think through every part of your business. How do I make people feel safe here? Every simple, even simple things like marking on the floors, marking on having some directional arrows, just telling people to maintain distance and things like that will mean a lot. When people see them, the people feel safe. People feel that you're doing something about it. Every week we're going to need to adjust, we need to change, we need to adapt, and it's not going to be same. It's not going to be same. So you're going to have to edit or change the plan. Flexibility is not just a fun word. I would say flexibility is the absolute essence of opening your business here. Just remember, the first time you open the business, how many times did you have to change things? And it's the same today, because the psyche and mentality, that fear and worry, is going to be around for quite some time. I know that the first people coming out to buy from you are the ones with less fear and worry, but they're still going to have it. So keep that in mind as you go through. Prepare yourself, re-educate yourself, and work with it. So it's really, really important to look at your business and see what are the things that I am going to be doing differently. What are the things that I can do to make people more safe? How I'm going to exhibit these things. So these are the things which are important for you to be working on. Now, it also goes for the team, like I said. So for the team, you need to give them confidence. For most of the businesses that I work with, and we've been thinking about it, putting themselves into a situation, they're going to be dealing with people. So the team members, they're going to be dealing with other people. Whether it's for work or whether it's with colleagues, workmates, customer delivery people, suppliers, just you name it, there will be some interaction. So we need to give our people the confidence to come back to work. We need to give our people a level of feeling, and we have to be patient with them as well. Your methodology is what you're doing for cleaning of the business must be communicated. I don't think it's good enough just to do the cleaning. It's also equally important to communicate it to your staff. What is happening? What things are you doing? What steps are you taking? You need to communicate with them. What is expected of them? What is not expected of them? And again, in this day and age, obviously, we need to be clear on the fact that we can't require people to come back to work, just like that. There's so many things. I'm seeing companies getting, notices, or sometimes getting into trouble because all they're doing is forcing people to sign off some paperwork and come back to work. So it's not that simple. You just don't have to protect yourself. You have to be protecting your team as well. So it's a multiple level of protection that we need to be, giving them confidence. Now, obviously, allowing people to stay virtual is also, going to last for some time. And for all the way we do work in future has all changed. I was just listening to Twitter. They've said they're going to allow their team members to work virtually for the rest of the year and for the foreseeable future. So it is about looking at flexible hours. You need to be looking at people who are doing homeschooling. You have to be looking at people who have other responsibilities. Still, if that's going to be the case in your marketplace, so what we're going to need to do is allow flexible hours. And you could look at running shifts, maybe having 2 shifts, or maybe segregating people into different work schedules. But what is important is you need to be looking at or analyzing how your team is going to be working with if it's a physical premises. Discuss it with your team. Have the communication and have these discussions, because if you don't have these discussions, some of the good people will leave as well. Because if you don't calm their fears, some of the good people may leave as well. So these are things that will come out maybe later. You may or may not might find it straight away. But remember, you've got to build. You've got to build this community. You've got to, when you're bringing this stuff back, some of your business, you need to be mindful of these things. So we've got people not coming back to work sometimes, as they may decide, I want to work from home for longer, or I don't want to go back to work. There are some people I've had conversations with, some of them actually don't want to go back to work, and they want to change the way they live their lives. And obviously you need to be mindful of, the needs of the business, but at the same time, you need to be supporting the people who are with you. So running meetings virtually, looking at your boardrooms, looking at your meeting rooms, looking at what numbers can be, seated in the room, looking at your washrooms or bathrooms. What is the number of people that you would allow in a bathroom? What is your cleaning protocol? How often it is getting cleaned? Your bathroom. So it is also important to understand how you're going to be communicating this. What standards are you going to be maintaining? What sort of a schedule which is visible to other people, is important. Now, at this time, another thing which gets impacted is the productivity. Now, you may not get the same productivity what you used to get maybe a few months back, because things have run differently, and in this time of crisis, people are still adjusting. But as we come back to work, we need to be willing to give it some time for the productivity to pick up, because it is going to come back to earlier levels, but it's not going to happen straight away. So everything excuse me, it's going to take some time. So you need to be patient with people, and remember, understand the psychology of people. When people come back to work, they will be a bit scared. So just demanding productivity straight up may not be the best thing to do. So what we are also doing with some of our clients, we're doing with locked door policies, at the beginning of reopening. So we just don't want anybody to walk into the building or a store. People have to book an appointment before they come in. We've got doorbells, so people just can't walk in. People have to ring doorbells, so they're escorted then. So that way we are able to control the workload, but also, take care of the environment and the social distancing. So think about your business. What is it that you need to do in your business? It is about understanding the needs of the business, at the same time understanding the human needs, or the human challenges that people are having. And this is all to instill the confidence in the team. So it is all understanding what is that we're doing. And remember, most of the things are new, which we were not doing earlier, but things have changed now. Things are new. So you need to be prepared to accept it. You need to be prepared to accept it. So take care of your team, definitely. Next thing that we're going to be looking at is deals. Okay. Now, this is where it gets a bit of fun. I would like you to start putting deals together. Put deals together for different types of people. So think about your target audiences. Think about older people. Think about males, females, younger people, older people. Different industry, different product categories. So think of deals which you can do. Now, when I say deal, I'm not talking about discounts. When I say deal, it's more like buy two get third one free. I'm not a big fan of discounting, but thinking about deal is to create some excitement. If you need some ideas on creating some deals, have a chat with me afterwards. I'll brainstorm some ideas with you. I'll give you some ideas. So looking at that, first of all, I want you to think about is your top 20% of the customers. So who are your top 20% of your customers, your grade A customers? Now, if you've never done this analysis before for your customers, it's time to do it. This is the best time to do it. Analyze who are your top 20% of the customers. And if you don't understand A, B, C, D category of customers, give me a call later, or drop me an email, and I'll run through that with you. 20% of the customers which bring 80% of the business. Well, not right now, maybe who they were before the lockdown happened. So It's about understanding that they need to be made to feel special because they bring majority of the business. So it's really, really important that you think about them. How are you going to bring them back? What I would say is, every company that can and should have some sort of deal put together for you know uh, key workers. Think about key workers. They played a big role in this whole situation, and it will also be a good opportunity for you to try some marketing or deals which you can share with the key workers. So think about what can you offer to key workers, doctors, nurses, paramedics, teachers, drivers, people who kept this this whole society running. So what is it that you can do? So there could be some offer which or a deal which gives them some special access. Also, you can look at something like buy for a key worker offer. So everybody who spends money with you, they may be able to donate some money and buy something for a key worker, and then maybe you can find some charity and link with some charity to give that money or use that money for providing something to the key worker. So it is really important for you to look at either something like that or maybe a gift voucher. So but you've done your 20% of the customer. Now, what about the rest of the customers? So look about the rest of the customers, existing customers. So what offers can you create? What deals are you going to be giving, which will bring them back? Because when they come back, they need to be excited. The biggest part of this is thinking about how am I going to retain my existing customer base. And remember one thing, not everybody is going to be running towards you and say, I want to spend my money. Now, that's not what people are aiming to do. People are more conservative with money. They're a little more fearful. They're a little worried. So think about what sort of offer would excite them. What would bring them back? Now, a lot of these people may or may not come back. And people have been talking about, oh, I don't know how things are going to be surviving on 50% capacity and stuff like that. But when I look at this, actually, it's not that bad, because when was the last time you saw business running at 50% capacity? So businesses go up and down. So I don't think it's that much of a problem, or don't panic so much, because not everybody is going to come out straight away. There are some people who are going to rush, because people who were not scared that much. But then there are other people who would be taking their sweet time, So it is about waiting for them. It's about giving them an opportunity to come and do business with you. I read a meme other day. Someone was sharing that if you're a complainer, please don't go out right now. Don't go out and complain today. If service takes a bit longer, or if the business is a bit slower, just be willing to be excited to be the fact that you're actually able to transact, you're able to get out of the house. So do not complain. So it's about understanding. So I think part of the message is, a part of the deals that you would be looking to communicate with your customers is also to tell them that there may be a possible slight delay because of the social distancing. And if it is something like that, you're sorry about that, but you're trying your best to keep them safe at the same time. So it's about communication. It's about letting them know. Next one is obviously new customers. So what are you going to be doing in terms of deals to get new customers? Okay, if I am a new customer now, what is it that you're going to be offering? Remember, some of your competitors during this crisis may have folded or have compromised their position to market, or may lose some of the customers. And these are the customers which will be looking for somebody to provide them or service them. So you can actually access those customers if you play it right. So these are the customers who are ready to move or ready to change. So it is important to be open and to new customers and think about what am I doing about the new customers. Okay, so it's about looking at what is it that I'm doing for the existing customers? What am I doing for my top customers? What am I doing for key workers? What am I doing for the new customers? So think about things like that. And what are the deals you're going to be offering? Another thing which you need to be focused on is, it's not just one deal. So you want to be seeing these deals running month long, maybe quarter long, depending on how this, pans out, even 90 days. Think about running these deals for a long time, not just the first week. Because people will come out, but not everybody is going to come out in first week. People would still want to be staying home and not ready, come back in the first instance. So your reopening could take till the end of the year. We don't know what is the certain time frame for this. I've said it on the day one. It will take 90 days to get in and 90 days to get out. Remember, to keep your offers going as long as people still wanting to come out of the house for the first time. So that process is going to take longer than 1 week, 2 weeks. It's going to take longer than that. So think about what is it that you're going to be doing and what deals are you going to be offering. Okay, so it's about understanding that. And next thing we need to look at is creating some excitement. So think about what is it that we can announce. Now, as far as I'm concerned, everything needs to be announced. Not just little things, not just big things. Everything needs an announcement. We want to make sure that we have a level of desire. With our restaurant clients, we've continuously been saying that we can't wait to see you back. We haven't stopped their Instagram and Facebook posts. We haven't stopped down newsletters and blogs. We haven't stopped any of these things just because we're closed. And in all of our clients' businesses, we've kept marketing and kept going. So I have been advising people, keep on marketing, keep on, keep your visibility up. But as you get towards the reopening, you got to start building the excitement. Can't wait to see you face to face. Can't wait for another visit. All of can't waits that you can think of, things you've been looking for. And this message needs to be built onto, lots of your marketing as we go forward, but everything needs to be an announcement. So no matter what steps you're taking, I want to see it announced to your customer base, announced on your social media, announced, in your newsletter, text messages, every step of it. You need to say, next Friday, this is happening, and re-announce it and do that sort of stuff, because your customers have a relationship with you and they want to be treated that way. They want to feel that, they need to know that whatever is happening. Remember, when you were first opening the business or starting out in business, you announced everything, isn't it? And you do the same, right now, and you talk about your team members. So for example, can't wait for Mary taking care of your orders, or can't wait for Bob to come back, in the store, or can't wait to have this, announce every team member that who's coming back, make them feel special, make them feel a part of what's going on, and, keep doing this stuff. So it's not just one off, it's a sort of thing that you keep on every day. Just mention another team member and announce them coming back to work. And I know that we will probably get some form of social shaming, and I know that's going to happen, but I'm ready for it. That's like, yeah, okay, I've been selling and I've been marketing through this whole thing, and if you can't handle that, that's too bad for you. I'm quite okay with being in this position of announcing that we are coming back and doing it safely and doing it well. So there are some of these things we've got to make certain that we're doing out there. Every deal is going to be announced, every date is going to be announced. Whatever it is, your cleaning policies, your structure, you're putting in a screen, for example. Don't just announce, for that matter, you're putting a screen. Take a video, take a picture, post it on social media. Everything you do at this point in time needs to build build an excitement, build a customer experience. So it's not just about doing it, it's about sharing, it's about getting it out there. Announce your dates, announce the dates, if anything is coming up. Also look at whatever you can think of, whatever you can use it as a marketing, use that, use videos, use pictures, use announcements. It's about connecting with your customer base. This is another way and form of staying connected with your customer base. Because if you just open and just keep open without doing that sort of excitement building, the people will also be more reserved in terms of taking the next step. So it's about the excitement that you're going to be building up. So it's all taking it one notch up. How can you do that? Also look at the celebration side of things. So celebration of reopening. I want to see ribbon cuttings. I want to see, even if ribbon, like that, crazy ribbon cuttings. So for example, if you got 10 or 15 vans in your business, then do a ribbon, you're cutting around the vans. So wrap all the vans, in a parking lot, and do the ribbon cutting by all the drivers, and maybe invite some media to, have a look at it. Because, create something that is memorable. You're celebrating the survival, you know, get people excited, you know, celebration of coming back, celebration of life. People want to feel good right now. People want good stories, right? So they're through this, they're coming through, they want to feel, yes, there is a story of survival, there is a story of this business doing well. Especially give the customer something to cheer about, you know, give them something to be excited about, give your staff something to cheer about. It's about celebrate each team member, celebrate each customer. When a customer comes back for the first time, take a photo if they're willing to do it and post it up there and say, it's so great to have Mary back doing business with us. She's been such a great customer for 20 years. It's great to see a smiling face again. Really appreciate you doing business with us, Mary, and bringing us through this time and helping us survive the whole crisis that we've been through. So celebrate your team members like coming back. Take the photo, you know, take the photo with PPE equipment. So have the mask and gloves on. That will also give a signal to the customers that you're taking care, you're mindful. But celebrate as much as you can. You know, celebrate your community. So it's not just about your customers and your team members. Celebrate your business community, people around you. You know, every other business owner that opens up, celebrate for them, tag them, nominate them. Hey, congrats, Rob, opening up our, Rob opening up our next door neighbor. You know, we are really pleased to have him back. So celebrate that. You know, the good news stuff now has to be part of it. And by making it newsworthy, the ribbon cutting, for example, invite the news media to take pictures. They're looking for good stories as well, isn't it? They don't want to be doing just negative stories anymore. They want to see great survival stories and businesses doing well and things opening up. You know, they can be part of. And if that takes getting a public relations person or getting some help, you know, then do it. But make sure that you're giving people something to celebrate. So lots of announcements and lots of celebrations, you know, make sure it is memorable, make sure it's newsworthy. And you know, as we start opening up, we lead with this celebration. So it is important to do that. Now, next thing which I want to focus on is the important bit, but the boring bit as well sometimes. I want to see your numbers. I want to know, you know, have you done your numbers recently, right? So what we are doing with all the clients is making sure we get to the weekly numbers. We're going down to weekly numbers in all the companies, because whether you're closed down or you're in survival mode or doing a pivot that keeps you in virtual nature, or whether you're in a boom mode right now, doing your numbers on a weekly basis, and in some cases even a daily basis, is very, very important. Knowing your numbers, sit with your coach, get your numbers, know very clearly what is it that you're trying to achieve with that stuff. Just as I said more often, you know, break even numbers, you know, I keep talking about it. You need to understand what is your break even, because the break even you had before the crisis is no longer applicable, because things have changed, your business has changed. So it is important to understand what is my break even now. So what is my break even on a weekly basis? What is my break even on a monthly basis? What is my daily break even? How much do I have to, you know, make? How much do I have to bank every day to hit my profit goals? Knowing these numbers. Now I want, I want to touch on this, but it's really, really important. And it's a matter of common sense, but I'll still say it. If you've got a grant, if you've got a loan, make sure you use it wisely. Don't just let it be sucked into the operations of the business. Use it wisely. Especially if you don't need all of it to survive, you know, make sure you look how you're going to invest it. Invest. And when I say invest, basically that means it needs to give you a return. That is what is investment. Otherwise, it's just an expense. So look at how you're going to turn that into more money. Okay. So make sure you make your decisions, prioritize your decisions based on whether it is going to help me grow the business, or is it just going to be sucked in the day-to-day costs of the business. So make those decisions very, very carefully. And if you have not done planning right, then it is going to be a big problem, because that could be the difference between, you know, you coming out smiling by the end of the year, or you under a lot of pressure by the end of the year. I'm suggesting all my clients to keep extra cash on hand. You know, I'm asking them to access the cash as much as they can, because I think extra cash on hand is not a bad thing, because when you have cash in hand, you make decisions differently. You know, it is about using your decisions making your decisions based on what the business needs, not what you can afford. So keep your cash in hand, extra cash in hand. But make sure you do your numbers. Make sure you sit down with your coach or whosoever is supporting you in the business and get that plan right. By the way, if you have any questions, please type them in the question box. I will be coming to them, at the end of the presentation. I'm going to be answering them. But if you have any questions, please keep on typing them. All right. Next thing that we want to be looking at is, the most important bit, because this is something which is really, really important. So make sure marketing and sales is where we need to be, and spend a fair bit of time here, because this will either make or break reopening for lots of people. So we need to sit down and start thinking about the way we market today. Now, the marketing message, the marketing mediums have shifted. So we've got to be sitting there thinking about what are we going to be doing marketing going forward. I would highly suggest that a full new marketing plan is necessary. Absolutely. So if you don't have a new marketing plan, or if you haven't done the marketing plan recently, it's important that you sit down and you do the marketing plan. I would also suggest, look at your SWOT analysis, redo full SWOT analysis. Look at, what your competitors are doing different today from what they were doing earlier. Okay, what are they? What you need to research your competitors as well. What are they offering? What are they not offering? How have they changed their website? How they changed their marketing? Right? What strategies are they using? What pricing strategies are they using? You got to sit down and do that whole, the weakness thing right now. They're different. 90 days ago was a different landscape. Today is a different landscape. So you need to be looking at what opportunities are available, which were not available earlier. Also look at what weaknesses are there in your business model. So it is about understanding what is it that we need to be doing. And my friend, a big part, a big task, a lot of things has gone into, because the landscape has shifted. How has it changed? How are the buying habits going to be different? How are the purchasing strategy going to be different? Right? How are people going to be doing this? And so it really means right now, all the companies I'm working with will be sitting down and redoing a proper marketing plan. So the message, I believe, has to, shift to more education and help customer base rather than, benefit oriented to a product or service. We most definitely can't be doing advertising right now on price orientation. I don't think price orientation is going to be a marketing strategy for at least, 6 months to a year. Not that I'm a big fan of that anyway, but you're not going to see supermarkets running specials on prices. What you would be seeing is, they will be doing more on the community base, more on health base, more education, more on thankfulness, more on gratitude. These are the messages you will be seeing, and marketing messages. And this is what you need to be working on in your marketing as well. So you need to look at what messages my marketing is conveying. I did a marketing webinar just a couple of weeks back. And if you haven't seen that, I would suggest, have a look at it, because I spent 1 hour on just how the marketing has changed in these times. So maybe some good tips there for you. If you haven't, I'll share the link with you after this, the webinar. But understanding the marketing, the nature of market right now, what a great marketer will do that. They will look at the messaging. They will look at how the community has shifted, how the feel is different in the marketplace. Your marketing has to be around things that there's got to be cleanliness. There's got to be safety. These are the marketing messages of today. And so I said, a lot of people, so okay, imagine, let's say, if you had to capture the essence or side or the mindset of the marketplace today, what are the top 10 things that you think people are looking for, both positive and negative? 5 positive things and 5 negative things. What are the things that people are worried about in your industry specifically, or your profession? And what are the things that people are fearful about? So then on the flip side, also look at what is it that people are excited about in your marketplace. What is it that people are looking forward to in your marketplace? So these are some of the marketing messages. So if you look at 2 messages, say, fear and worry on one side, excitement and looking forward on the other side, These are going to be part of your marketing messages. Now, how are you going to test your marketing messages? A lot of it can be done by putting up on social media posts. So if you're posting on Twitter, if you're posting on LinkedIn, you can send a bunch of messages out, or you can send a bunch of posts out. Look at what response they get. If they get tweeted more, if they get liked more, if they get shared more, that means that is the message people are accepting. And those are the messages, kind of marketing messages, you need to be building on. So look at traction on your social media. Now, if you really want to, you can also do it as paid ads. If you want to, you can spend a little bit of money in terms of boosting some of the posts and see what reaction they get on social media. But it'll give you an idea what is acceptable, what are people looking forward to, what would people not respond to. And that is how you can revolve your marketing messages. Build up your marketing campaign, right? So each step, remember, when this marketing is happening, it's not going to be same as it was earlier. So things will be different. Things may take longer. So you need to be patient with that. So also we need to be looking at sales process. So for example, if there are 3, 4, 5 steps in your sales process earlier before a purchase was made, maybe you will have to add another couple of steps there, and be patient with that. So what is it that you can do? What is it that you need to change in your sales and marketing process? So how are we going to actually get this education, and get the people understand what is the business doing? It'll take a lot of work, especially in the virtual world, to convince people to buy. By the same time, you need to be using the videos. For example, I believe every business should be using the videos right now. If you have a decent iPhone or a decent camera phone, and some of my clients have changed their marketing over the last 2 weeks, and not 2 weeks, sorry, 2 months, and they have turned into real good marketers as well. They're posting videos regularly, they're creating videos regularly. But don't do boring videos. Don't sit behind your desk and do a video every day. Do things outside. Do things as normal people would do. Go out for a walk, and if you want to record a video, you know, go out if you're going for a run or something. Then, or if you're sitting on a park bench, or if you're doing something else, do a video which is exciting, which is different. Mix it up. Now remember, testimonials. Testimonials. Don't forget the testimonials, right? They are the most important ones. So what I would like to do is talk to 10 of your clients and have tell them on the camera how great you are. And they don't have to be perfectly produced right now. They don't need to be amazing. Literally, you can make something on the phone and edit in in one of the softwares. It doesn't need to be amazing. All you need to do is get the message out. Education videos are really important. How are you educating people about your business, about new technologies, new methodologies, new products, new services? How are you educating people? Using that in your marketing and your business sales process is really, really important. Also understand, how important it is to ask the right questions in the sales process. If you don't know, if you don't use questions, or if you don't lead your sales process through questions, you may be leaving a lot of money on the table. If your conversion is not that great, one of the reasons could be that you're not asking the right questions. And they need to be customer centric. You need to be more interested in them than anything else, right? So it's all about you using your strengths to market it right, get the word out. It's about understanding what is it that you need to do. Also look at part of the marketing needs to be focused on building a database, building relationships. Because remember, this is not an economic crisis. It's actually an economic transformation. The way we do business now has transformed dramatically from what it was just a few months back. We have actually leapfrogged somewhere between 5 and 10 years in time frame. So we need to move ourselves accordingly, right? We did not expect to move towards virtual business so fast in such a short span of time. So it's also about looking at, building database relationship, and what are you doing, to do that. So getting the messages out, looking at, building relationships with people, right? So it's about understanding what is it the next step, what the next step is in our marketing of what are we going to do. So look at building databases, building relationships. Another thing which is really, really important, thanking people. Now, during this time frame, there are a lot of people we need to thank, and you need to thank as well. There are lots of customers, lots of business partners, bankers, coaches, obviously. And so you need to think about how do you do that. For me personally, handwritten notes are good. If you have a team and if you have a huge customer base, you can give postcards to your team members. Give them, let's say, 10, 15, 20, 30 each, and let them write a postcard and a handwritten note, and send it to your business customer and say, thank you for staying with us. We really appreciate you during this time. We really think about you, and all that sort of stuff. I mean, it's important to let people know how you feel about them. Let people know what it is. That's important, and that can be everyone that's done business with you. We've helped you through this. People who have, another thing, that people who help you access government loans, assistance program. Make sure you thank them. Your accountant, thank them if they've supported you through this time. Get those things done. Let media know. Thank you. Also keep other people, maybe like politicians, if you want to go one step up, thank them. So it's about, it's massive. Let's stay on top of that, and let's keep thanking as many people as we can, right? Now there's another thing which I need to highlight here is, not every day was same, because people have gone through some tough times during last few months. Now, there are a couple of days when I needed to speak to my coach for mental support. I was definitely not, in the mental strength mode for a couple of days during this crisis. And the frustration got to me, and I even got angry at some point. Some of the things which I couldn't control, or things that were happening. But then I was like, hang on, I got to get myself out of that and get myself back to gratitude, back to thankfulness, and back to problem solving. Back to things that, will solve this, not the things that will create more often. I can see some questions coming. Yeah, keep writing them, guys. I will get to the questions at the end. So keep putting those questions in. So more gratitude you show towards other, the better you will feel about yourself. And the better you will feel about yourself, better your business will. So think about what are the things that you can thank people about. What is it that you can thank people for, right? So it is about understanding, looking at who else you can do. And some people in terms of media, politicians, these are the things. Fellow business owners, thank them. Okay. So this is sort of a path that businesses have gone through. So if you look at it, in the dive stage, February started going down, started taking a hit. April was the worst month, and April, May is usually, is about survival. And now people have started going back up. Businesses have started going back. The restrictions have gone down, so easing restrictions. Now, depending on what you do from here, what decisions you make, how you reopen, how you get this whole thing going again, will decide whether you take the orange trajectory, blue trajectory, or the pink trajectory. So if you don't make the right decisions now, you might as well, be out of business or really struggle by the end of the year. So it is about understanding what is it that you need to do. So first quarter was focused mainly on doing okay. Second quarter where we take the hit, and third quarter is where the recovery starts, and the fourth quarter is where you need to be getting back into the game. But what you do in fourth quarter will depend on what you do in quarter three and what you do now today. So I just wanted to highlight this for you to have a look. to understand, what marketing you're doing, what sales you're doing, what are you working on, how are you taking care of your team. So all the things that I've talked about today, what sort of excitement you're creating, all these things will make a difference to how your business performs at the end of this quarter or beyond. So it's really important for you to look at that. Okay. Number 9, and the most important bit here is the plan. So depending on where you are now, have you started opening up, it doesn't really matter whether you were struggling, or you were doing well, or you had to shut down altogether. Your next 90 days will really decide how your rest of the year and how the next year looks like. So get together with your coach and make sure you have your next 90 days plan ready, because simplest of mistakes would put you back by a mile. So it's about thinking everything through. I want you to think through possible negatives, possible positives. It is also about looking at what are the things that you will encounter as you open up or start trading. If that happens, what's next? If that happens, what next? There's so many things. Think of the negative as well as the positives, because there are a lot of possible negatives and lots of downside. Simple mistakes, you can't really afford right now. So have a chat with somebody who you work with, or have a chat with your coach if they can help you and sit down with you. It's really important to look at every side of the business, because this is the most important period. It was not what the last 2 months. It's the next 3 months and the 3 months after that, because there will be lots of opportunities in the market, but if you don't get your plan right, you will lose out. And if you lose out, who wins? Your competition wins. So it's about understanding where you are at and what your plan is to deal with it in future. Okay. The next bit, I just wanted to show you this map in terms of how businesses have performed and how the businesses are performing through the cycle. Now, I don't know where you are at. Some businesses are still in phase 2, mostly the hospitality and the retail businesses. Some businesses are actually starting warming up, and some businesses are already sprinting. So, for restaurant industry, because they have not been able to open up, they're stuck. So they're still working on training their people, keeping them together, working on their marketing plan, drip feeding their customers on what's going on, communication. But most of the clients that I work with are in warm up phase. They're starting to think about reopening, going back to office, going back to the stores, or back to things. Very simply, going through planning right now. Really need to be prepared when we get out. And also think about taking some personal time off, because once you get going, I don't think you will get any time back. 24/7 it will be. So if you have not, and if you feel like, it will be a good idea to maybe use this next weekend to recharge yourself, refresh. And some of the clients who've opened up and started to sprint, some of the clients have actually done better in this crisis than what they were doing earlier. But people who are looking to sprint, we're looking at how do we stay ahead. How do we stay ahead of our competition? How do we keep our customers? How do we keep ahead of orders? And we're trying to just do that. We've employed more people. We've recruited people. I just this week, last week, I had 2 interview sessions for 2 of my clients, because we are recruiting, because we're preparing. We know there is going to be influx of business. So we're doing that. We're preparing for that. And it's important to understand that we've got to be flexible. Things that we thought earlier may or may not be applicable. So it's about understanding how are we going to be changing if need to be. Right? So whatever you plan in the first instance may or may not work. You may need to go back and change that. You may need to change the stickers on the floor. You may need to change this, the signages, or you need to look at your customer flow. When you start opening, you will encounter problems like that. Be flexible. but also do it in a way that your staff is comfortable. So when we get through all of this, when we are sprinting, when we are racing, so everybody is together. Now I don't know how long that is going to take. It's going to take 3 months, 6 months, before we start actually making lots and lots of money and growth phase starts. But I would say prepare for at least 3 to 6 months. So the new normal in this whole thing is we need to look at where we are right now. What is our strategy going to be to get to the next phase? Okay, and what is my plan going to be from next 90 days and the 90 days after? Right. So to finish up, I just want to do a couple of things. One is obviously, first thing is, if you think there are some of the strategies that you need help with, I'm happy to spend an hour giving you a strategy session as a gift. And this comes at the back of me working with Hillingdon Chamber of Commerce, because I work very closely with them, and I would like to support as many businesses in this community as I can. So these are some of the things that we will be going through. And second thing, second best thing that you can do from this session is to look at what are the top 5 things that you need to take action today. And what is your 90-day plan? What is it that you need to do to get it ready? Right? So it is really, really important, because you've survived, you've done the hard part, but the part which is coming up is going to be even more important. So it's really important to look at that. So question answer time, we have about 8 or 9 minutes to go through. Let me just see if I can open mic here. I know there are some challenges with mic. Mike's mic. Mike, are you able to hear us?
I can hear you. Yes.
Fantastic. Well, congratulations on the mic.
Yeah.
Great. Mike, you want to share? Mike is from Hillingdon Chamber of Commerce. He's heading the Hillingdon Chamber of Commerce. So, Mike, do you want to share a few words about with the people who are attending?
Yeah, I think Andy, thank you again for doing these seminars. I think they're very valuable. The one thing I think is the word that you used, I think, is flexible. I think every business is going to have to be very flexible, because the way you've done business in the past is in the past, and what you're going to do in the future is going to be changed, because I think you touched on that, Andy, and that's what mainly you spoke about today, and that is very important. One of the things I did send a message, and was health and safety. Every business over 5 has got to have a risk assessment done. So again, it's getting your actions down on paper and deciding the way you're going to do business in the future. Very, very important. That's recommended as well for any business of any size to actually look at your health and safety and see if there's any issues, and get it sorted out. But that's it really, Andy. I mean, you're doing a good job, and I'm sure other people have got some questions now.
Yes, thanks, Mike. I'm going to get to the questions now. So if you have any questions, please put it in the question box. So one person says, can businesses increase their prices in this time? Well, 100% yes. 100% yes. You can increase the prices during this time. Would I be doing it? No, not really, because at this time, I want to be focused on bringing my customers back. I want to be looking at getting the whole thing going. So I would like to absorb that cost for now, for at least 30 days or 60 days. It may be 90 days, but I would not do it. But if you are thinking about doing that, and if you think you're bringing additional value to it, you can. You need to look at your own numbers. And if you need some help with that, I'm happy to spend some time with you. But look at those numbers internally. Okay, second question. We have a real estate business. How do you market yourself at the moment? Well, you need to be focusing on, Barry, in terms of how are you adding value. Now, like I said earlier, videos right now. I would say making a commentary, how you're helping people, what's happening in the real estate market, what's best to do, when selling a house or buying a house. Education. If you go back to that, in your marketing, you sort of become an expert, an educator as well at the same time. And when you're an expert in your industry, people like to do business with you. So, for example, this webinar today is an example. I'm sharing information with you. I'm sharing information with people in the community. So I'm educating them. But at the same time, it is working because people may or may not, in future, people may want to, if they need a coach, they would consider having a conversation with me. So it's simple. What is it that you need to do? Okay. How do you think business owners should accommodate those members of team who did not perform during the lockdown? Well, simple, honest answer, Mark, is about same way as you would have done earlier. There's no difference. Have a meeting with them. Tell them that they did not perform. You got to sit them down. You're going to have a conversation with them. But if they did not perform, they did not perform. There's no other way of doing it. If there are some areas that you can fix and help them perform better, by all means, have a look at it. But deal it in the same way as you would have dealt earlier. So there are a lot of people who've lost their jobs, in this situation. And this is why I'm advising my clients as well. This is the best time to recruit people. So if you're thinking about recruiting somebody 3 months down the line, do it now. You will find a better person, maybe at a better salary as well. That's why I'm advising all the people that I'm working with who are looking at growth. They need to be recruiting people. So most of the businesses that I'm working with, they're looking at recruiting people in the key areas, especially in the sales and marketing side of things. We need to ramp it up. Look at it from another perspective. A lot of businesses have got money either through loan or through grants or whatever way or form. Things are not as gloomy as they used to be, in March. So the market sentiment is good. Most of the people with the money, people have got their job retention schemes, so they've not lost their jobs. Some people have lost their jobs, but a lot of people have been able to retain 80% of their earnings. All these people are going to go out and spend money. And if your business is not ready, if your business is not in front, you will lose out. So I would suggest use this opportunity. Next 3 to 6 months, you can actually recover all the money that you may have lost. If you get it right, invest in sales and marketing. Make sure your business is ready. Make sure your sales and marketing, if you're doing sales and marketing earlier, do it 10 times now. This is the best time to be marketing. And if people are upset about it, so be it. It's your business. It puts food on your table. Yeah, another question. The businesses which have done well, recommendations for them to continue doing well. Well, I would say, yeah, keep on the good work, keep on the marketing, keep on educating people, and keep on doing the work. That's it from my side. If you have any other questions.